All right, we roll on with our summer interview. Today, we are joined by Josh Rodriguez of the baseball team. Everyone probably remembers the mammoth home runs he hit in Greenville last year in the SoCon tournament, and he's having a fantastic season this year. Josh, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure.
No, it's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for even having me. This is awesome, dude. What you're
We
doing
we
is awesome.
love we love having baseball players. We used to joke that we were a baseball podcast because it seemed like we'd get the most traction whenever we featured the baseball guys. So pretty tight knit group. I hope that the team has been good to you. This is your second year in. How are we feeling about Samford and the Samford baseball team?
I mean, dude, it's been awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
the relationships that I've built here with the coaches, with the players, has just been. I couldn't have asked for a better place to land. I mean,
Do you like campus? You like the school? We
campus is
class?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Campus is beautiful. I mean, school has never really been my cup of tea. I love learning. I'll tell you that. I do love learning. I read. I'm an avid reader. I read probably 2 books a month, three
Dang,
books a month if I'm rolling.
crazy.
But when it comes to the whole school thing,
I hear
I'm
you.
not the biggest fan.
I,
But
I
Samford
hear you.
University is definitely an awesome place to be if you love school for sure.
What do you like to read?
I read a lot of nonfiction. I
Okay,
like biology. I like learning about the body, how the mind works.
interesting.
I love business stuff. I love politics. I'm not into politics, but I like understanding politics. So I
Sure,
love that
sure.
stuff. I love reading about food and how it can affect our bodies. Really, just for personal growth, and I guess you can put it in the category of personal development or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah, yeah.
is. But I don't really like to use that because that gets thrown around now
It
way
does. It's a
too
buzzword.
often.
It's a
Yeah, it's a
buzzword. Yeah.
buzzword now, and I don't really like it. But I like for example, I'm reading this book called Becoming Supernatural. I'm almost done with
Huh.
that, and it's literally just talking about how just like your thoughts and your emotions can really dictate like your overall health.
Interesting.
So like I love learning. Like I love all. I can go on and on
No,
about all that
look,
stuff.
that's a good. So, do you listen to? Um, I'm blanking on his name, but he's a comedian. Esque. He had Jameis Winston on the show a couple weeks ago, and Jameis Winston had a famous line, a good line. He had a good line. He said, uh, "No one talks to you more than you." Talking
Yeah.
about the importance of thought. So that's I'm sure that book is fairly insightful because that was the
Oh
first time
yeah.
I thought about that. I was like, dang,
Yeah,
Jameis dropped
dude.
some wisdom over here.
100%. I mean, you're the what you think about is usually what you'll become. I mean, it says it in the Bible. I read the Bible every morning as well. So I mean, there's a verse in the Bible that goes, "As a man thinketh, so is he."
Hmm.
So it's whatever you're thinking about is exactly what is going to consume everything that you do, your habits, what you say, how you act. So like, I'm very, very conscious about all of that stuff now, especially reading this book, and it helps a lot on the baseball field and
I was about
with
to
my
say it's
relationships as
pretty
well.
good for your sport.
Oh yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah, because
like
baseball is
literally visualizing success on the baseball field is
yeah, yeah, and speaking it and having. I mean, baseball is a confidence game. At the end of the day, if you're confident, I mean, there was an interview. I think I forget who the pitcher was, but
yeah.
it was probably like 30 years ago, and he came out, was probably throwing like 80, 85. He was getting smoked around. Somebody else came in, he was throwing 80, 85, but he shoved. And he asked the guy, he was like, "Yo, like you had nothing today, like what was going on?" And he was like, "The only difference between me and you is that they knew you had nothing. They didn't. I was walking around with my confidence and my chest out. So they thought that's exactly what I was supposed to do. I'd move an 85-mile-an-hour heater down the middle. They'd pop it up. I'd be like, yep, that's exactly what I was trying to do. So it's like,
That's awesome.
if you can tell yourself to be confident in yourself and your work and
Yeah.
everything else, I mean, everything else will play out.
Yeah, no, I see that. So, all right, let's get into your journey a little bit because it's not every day that we get a kid from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
It's not every day that that guy also comes from Mississippi. So let's roll it back. Let's get to elementary school, high school. Let's talk about your family growing
Okay.
up. So where exactly are you from, Josh, in New Jersey?
So I'm from Bergen County, New Jersey. So
Okay.
it's a small part on the northeast, like right near the city, probably like
Okay.
20, 25 minutes out from like Manhattan, Soho, all those big cities in New York. I've played baseball since I can remember. I mean, my dad, he played high school ball, so he loved it already. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
play college ball or anything like that, but he loved it. So he put me in baseball. I played every sport growing up. I wrestled, I played soccer, I played football,
Dang. All right.
in high school. I played basketball in high school and baseball.
Were you ever
Um,
better at one sport than?
I wasn't necessarily better because this is going to be a nice little argument, but I believe that if you can play baseball, you can play any other sport just because like the coordination and stuff. So
That's a
like,
hot take right there.
so it was,
That's a hot take.
so it was easier. Like
Yeah.
having some type of athletic ability, like it wasn't as big of a transition playing football where I just had to be super fast, run and catch a ball,
Sure. Sure.
or play DB and just run after the wide receiver, or playing basketball like running up and down the court or shooting up. Like it wasn't necessarily the hardest thing to do for me personally.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so I
But
played every sport growing up, really.
yeah, that may just be because you're a very athletic person, right? Like a lot of guys, a
Thanks to
lot
my
of guys
mom and
can
my
play
dad for that.
baseball. A lot of guys can play baseball, can't play anything else. We're looking at you, Sonny DeShera. So, there are guys out there who are just baseball bodies, right? And we know what they
Yes.
are. The
Okay.
pitcher,
Agreed.
I mean, pretty much every pitcher out there, unless you're
Yeah,
like
but
Justin Verlander, huge dude. I mean,
if you took a baseball player and
yes.
asked them to swing a golf club, shoot a basketball, throw a football, kick a soccer ball, they'll look fine doing it. Like
Some of them,
they won't be like
some of them.
perfect doing it, but like they'll hold their ground. But if you take like a
I
wrestler
would
or
love to
like a
see.
football player throw a
Yeah,
baseball or swing a baseball bat, try and
that's
hit
true.
off a
Yes.
machine, like it wouldn't look as good.
Yeah,
Not
throwing a
like no hit on
baseball
them,
in
like, but
particular. Yeah. No,
yeah,
I agree. I think baseball has its own set of tools and skills um, that certainly can translate to other sports. And
yes,
you're definitely right, man. Football, if you're athletic, there's a spot on the field for you. It doesn't
oh
matter.
yeah,
You can run
100%,
fast, you got it. That's why
yeah,
all the jokes about Usain Bolt playing football are out there. So, yeah, I mean, the dude,
yeah, dude,
he could probably do it. He could probably do it. But
oh yeah,
all right, so you're playing all the sports. That's to all the young athletes out there. We got a few of them listening. Certainly the way to go. Try to develop
yes.
every single muscle, every single movement you can to just make you an overall better athlete. Did you always was baseball always the favorite? Like were you?
I mean, it wasn't always the favorite until I started realizing that I was like better at it.
Yeah, I mean that
Because
makes
like
sense.
obviously you have fun once you're succeeding in
Right,
something.
right.
So I started really figuring out that I was kind of good at it. My dad would put it on me a little bit just to go out and work out, go out and do whatever I got to do to get better at baseball. And once I started succeeding, a love grew for it, like a different type of love that I didn't have for any of the other sports. So I fell in love with the game. Not to be cliche or anything, but I really did love baseball. And going up into high school, I went to an all boys school. They were a powerhouse in every single sport. I think my senior year, we were seventh overall in the nation.
Sheesh.
Like in the nation, I think we had like 15 guys going Power Five. Like it was like
That is
unreal.
absurd.
Yeah, we were really good. And then baseball, I think my junior year, we had I think like 7 or 8 guys committed Power Five already. Yeah, it was
Dang.
unreal. So we were pretty good at sports. Wrestling, we were really good at wrestling as well. But yeah, and then competing against really high level dudes and with high level dudes, I think that made me better as well.
Sure.
I was never really highly recruited, highly scouted or anything like that until I think end of my junior year, we had one kid who's with the Detroit Tigers now, Justin Henry Malloy. He played
That's cool.
at Vanderbilt and then went to Georgia Tech, got drafted at Georgia Tech,
Nice.
and he was our third baseman, and they were there for him. And I performed a little bit end of my junior year, and they started a little bit of eyes here and there. Nothing too crazy yet.
Yeah.
And then Rutgers came along, and the coaching staff that recruited me at Rutgers, they were awesome. I loved them. Committed to Rutgers. It was them, and I think Seton Hall were the only two schools that spoke to me.
Interesting. Because there's decent baseball up in the Northeast. I mean,
yeah,
especially for college baseball, it kind of gets a bad rap. There's some good mid-majors. So Rutgers and Seton Hall, that's, you know, Northeast.
They were the only schools. The only schools that's because I never really. Of course, I went to Lake Point and played like a tournament when I was 16 or something like that. Went to Jupiter once, but I was playing with kids that were like 2 years older than me.
Sure.
So I never really went to any of like the showcase stuff or any of that. I was kind of just like high school ball and then occasional like summer ball kind of vibes. So I never was really recruited or anything like that. Committed to Rutgers, and the summer going into my freshman year, that entire coaching staff moved on. Dang. So a completely new coaching staff came in Rutgers.
Dang.
And yeah, I mean, they had different plans for what they wanted to do with me. I mean, every young guy, like, they're going to have their recruits telling them like exactly what they're expecting out of them when they come in and what they want them to do, how it's going to be. And they were as real as I can get. And then once a new coaching staff came in, they had different plans, you know, like every other coach would have had different plans for me if I went somewhere else.
Sure.
And
this was after your freshman year?
Yeah, no, this was going into
your freshman year.
Yeah.
Dang, so you commit. You're on cloud nine. It's like, hey, I get to stay home in New Jersey. I'm going to Rutgers, fantastic school, Power 5 baseball. Well, pseudo Power 5 baseball. Tell me about the Rutgers baseball program. What's the reputation? Is it good? Have they been to Omaha? Like,
I don't think they've been to Omaha since like Frazier was there.
Todd Frazier?
He
played at Rutgers? Shut up.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He played at Rutgers.
That's cool.
And yeah, they've never been a very like well-known Big Ten school like Michigan was or Indiana. Sure. Like they were never one of those schools, but since the new coaching staff did come in, they've made a little run for their money. They've made a bunch of new renovations to their fields, got a whole bunch of money coming in for them, and I think they're on the rise right now. I don't know, since I've been there and before that, I don't think they made it to Omaha prior to, I think, Todd Frazier.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That makes sense. I didn't even know they had a guy that high a level.
Yeah.
That's a big name. I mean, Georgia Tech has some sleep. So I live in Atlanta, and Georgia Tech has some sleepy big names too. You go to their stadium, and it's kind of wild. But so you're going into freshman year, Rutgers. Baseball staff leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the offer for? Was it what kind of scholarship? Like, did they honor whatever they'd offer you to go to Rutgers? Like, did the staff that came in still honor that at least?
They did honor that, because I mean they still had like high expectations for me. I mean they cut a few guys too, but like I think it was me and one of my best friends, Gustavo Sosa, who played with the Phillies as well.
That's a good baseball name.
Yeah, he's awesome. One of my best friends to this day. Me and him were the two guys that I think received a pretty good chunk of the scholarship money, like from that freshman class. So he kept us, and then everybody else, I think.
Dang, yeah, I mean, because baseball's brutal, right? Like there's really no qualms about cut. I mean, because no one's on a full ride, so it's like, oh yeah, boom, gone. See ya.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
So they honored that, and I mean, it was all love and all respect for them, because I mean they loved me and they respected me as well. But after a certain amount of time, they just had different plans for the type of player that they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
Other than the way that I just play, like they wanted to just.
What did they want? What kind of player did they want? Because you're pretty freaking good. So I don't know what I don't know what we're talking about here.
They wanted more of just like a big power guy that stands kind of like Manny Machado to hit the ball.
They wanted to beef you up and and
And I
make you
just
hit
couldn't.
homers.
Yeah, and I couldn't play like that. I just couldn't. Whenever I got too big, I'd pull muscles and do this and do that, and
Sure,
I just
sure.
couldn't play like that. So, I mean, again, like
Interesting.
they just wanted to win. I wanted to win too, so of course I want to listen to them. They're
Yeah.
wiser than me, of course.
Yeah.
So it was all respect, but again, I had to take a step back and see what the bigger picture was. I wanted to continue to succeed in the way that I've played baseball my entire life.
Man,
I've been swinging a bat this way for my whole life. Why am I going to change it now? So
it's
change
cool
my
that
play
you knew
style.
yourself like as an 18-year-old, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people listening, they think when they were 18, if I had a Division I coach at a school like Rutgers telling me I should be X, Y, and Z, I'm probably like, all right, hey, whatever you say.
Yeah.
But then you knew your body. It's like, this is not long term, very
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah. And of course I listened because like anybody,
Right.
if your coach tells you to do something, he's a higher authority. Like listen to your coach, do what you got to do.
Right. This isn't
But
golf, where you're
yeah,
solo out there.
exactly. So it's like listen to your coach, do what you got to do. I mean, if it's for the better of the team, do what you got to do. But it was after the fact when I started really. So I started off kind of hot my freshman year, and then tailored off. And once I tailored off, that's when they wanted to make that big switch. And then it was towards the end of the season that it kind of just, obviously with like COVID and all that stuff, like we were only playing conference and doing all that or whatever. It was just weird situation. And
Oh,
that
so
was when
your
the transfer.
freshman season was COVID.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay.
Yeah. So it was weird. It was really weird, dude. Like it was just a completely, I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah. All
And
right.
I
So
started,
you want to transfer. So how did that process work? It's like, how did you land in Mississippi?
So I knew I wanted to transfer just because I started finding myself like struggling and I was like falling out of love with like the game. Like as I said
Yeah.
earlier, like I loved baseball. And I knew just if I really wanted to keep playing and find that love, I had to go somewhere else and find different plans. So I entered the transfer portal and I was playing in the NECBL at this time.
And what is
And I
that?
think I was the New England League.
Is
The
this
New
like a
England Summer
league?
Ball League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
NECBL. I was up in New Hampshire, and I had a buddy on the team who went to Tulane, and he had a few connections or an agent or something down in Louisiana. And
I
yeah,
think everybody in Louisiana has an agent. You know what I'm saying? It's like that place is built
yeah,
different.
dude. So I told him, I was like, hey, like I've been in the portal, dude, and we have, I think, a month left to ball, and I haven't gotten anything yet. Like, is there any, hit your Tulane coach up, hit some people up that you know, or whatever. And he hit up one of his agents or his agent, and I got a call like 2 days later, and he was like, hey, are you interested in going JUCO? And I was like, I mean, I'd prefer not to.
Of course.
But like, I want to play baseball. Like, I just want to play ball. And he was like, all right. Hung up. I think the next day, Hines calls me, and they're like, hey, look, we heard about you. We need a bat, but we also heard about your pull down. And if you come here, we're going to need you to pitch as well. And I was like,
you pitched?
Oh, pitching's cool. Yeah, I pitched in JUCO as well.
Wow.
That was the only way that I think they were going to let me come there was if I pitched and hit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I think they saw a video of my pull down or something, and they were just like, "Come on."
Sorry. So you landed Hines, and Hines is where in Mississippi?
It's in Raymond, Mississippi.
Raymond, Mississippi,
little
which is
town.
outside of what?
It's like 30
north,
minutes
south?
outside. It's 30 minutes outside of Jackson. Everybody knows Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
30 minutes outside Madison, like 15 minutes from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Madison is nice.
Yeah. One of my best friends now, he lives in Madison, and I still go up there, down there every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I land in Mississippi, and I remember as I'm driving to campus, because everyone lived on campus at JUCO. Yeah. Driving to campus, and my dad looks at me, and he goes, Are you sure you want to be here? And I'm like, hey, I mean, It is what it is at this point. Like, we're already here. And because
That
we
is,
couldn't see, it was just fields and nothing. Like,
you're
just
coming from
absolutely just
New
nothing.
Jersey,
Yeah.
the largest metropolitan area in the country. Don't fact check me. Maybe LA's bigger in that sense. But and then you land in Mississippi.
Yeah, dude. I'm driving. I'm seeing cows and stuff. And I'm like, what? Where am I? And my dad literally, like, I'm quoting him, like, word for word. He looks back as he's driving. He's like, are you sure you want to be here? Are you sure you want to stay?
I'm sure that made you feel really good. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I mean, we're here already. Like, let's run it. I get
Yeah.
on
I mean, that's
campus
true.
and I get on campus and absolutely just fall in love with the people that I'm around, the coaching staff. Like, Hines Community College in Mississippi will have a part of my heart for the rest of my life. For the
Oh
rest of my
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And just because of the people that were there, like, just it's completely different. Like, just Mississippi people, like, Southern hospitality is real in Mississippi. And
They are
of course
nice.
here in Alabama as well, but there's nothing like Mississippi though. Like, there's absolutely nothing like Mississippi. I'll love it forever. I'll brag about it for the rest of my life. I tell everybody, all these guys that come in here when they ask where I came from or what JUCO that I come from or where did I say the best
Sure.
place on earth, Raymond, Mississippi. Even though there was only a Sonic and a Dollar General down the road, that was all that was there.
Look,
But
it could have been worse. It could have
yeah,
been worse. That's
of
not
course,
too bad. The
of
Sonic
course.
that's a high bar in Mississippi. That's nice.
But it was awesome. It was really awesome. The relationships I built there are going to last a lifetime. I still talk
Yeah.
to a bunch of people there, and I play the rest of that season.
Did you end
I
up
had a pretty
pitching and
good
hitting?
season. I pitched. I had 4 starts, I believe,
Wow. Wow.
and then I didn't realize how bad pitching hurt, like my arm. So
Yeah.
like,
It's
and I
all
was
the
swinging
injuries
it.
are pitchers. It's like,
Yeah. So I was swinging it pretty well, and my coach basically was like, "Hey, look, unless we really need you to come out and just chuck it, like, we'll keep you out. We'll keep you out there because, like, we can't. Like, you got hit because we played double headers in Mississippi. So I'd
yeah,
throw the first game and then go out to center field, game 2, and then
that's intense.
2 days later we'd play another doubleheader, and I'd be in the outfield for those 2 days, and then 2 days later another doubleheader, and I'd have to be ready to pitch that first game.
Sheesh. So that's
So it
4
was a
days,
lot.
5 days rest, 4 days rest.
About
I
about
guess maybe yeah, maybe it ends up being like 6.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily even a rest because I'd have to warm up for IO
Right.
from center
Exactly. Yeah.
field
Right.
or
Right. Right.
do all of that. So towards the end of the season, when, like, my arm was really, like, just not feeling too good, he was just like, "All right, look, we're gonna shut you down, and unless we really need you to come in and throw, like, and chuck it, you're gonna just stay out there in the outfield and hit." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I hit, and I had a pretty good season swinging it, and I was getting a bunch of buzz from different schools here and there, and just didn't get anything until the end of my season. And that was when Samford came into the picture. They called me and they were like, "Hey, no, this is actually what happened. I had a game. I remember this. I had a game
Yep.
and I went 0 for 4 with 3 punchies,
Dang.
3 Ks, 0 for 4, 3 punchies. And I had no idea that Samford was there watching me. And after the games, I always stay in, and, like, I'm one of the older guys, and there's just a bunch of stuff laying around, so I'm, like, picking everything up. I'm always the last one leaving the dugout, and, like, at my JUCO, I was always the last one. I was cleaning everything up, and I come out, and he's one of the recruiters for Samford was there, and he was like, "Hey man, like, this is my name from Samford University, and I just wanted to say, like, I came to watch you play. I loved everything I saw." I was like, "Everything you saw? Like, for 4, 3 punchies? Like, what do you mean?" And he was like, "Oh, I loved everything I saw. Like, you missed a couple pitches. Like, I like the way you come around baseball, whatever, in the outfield, and we're gonna stay in touch." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then didn't hear anything. And then on my way back from going home from Mississippi, they called me and they're like, "Hey, look, like we want you to come on a visit."
And so at this point, was Samford really the only one recruiting? Like,
yes.
Dang, that's wild.
At this point, and I had a pretty good like JUCO season, so I was
right.
even
maybe we don't need to publish this. If Samford has a little gold mine of the JUCOs in Mississippi that no one's looking at, it's like maybe we need to keep this on the down low. But
yeah, dude, I was literally like
crazy.
So how it works in Mississippi JUCO was most of the guys, like the dudes that commit, they commit in the fall before their season even starts because there's a few fall games. There's fall games and schools
why?
Come out. It's like the same thing.
Explain to me then, why are they even in JUCO if they can already commit to a university? It's like, how did they not get poached before they went to JUCO?
No clue. I mean, they have the opportunity to play a season in JUCO, and then they can still get drafted after that season. Because I mean, you can commit in the fall, but you won't get there until next year.
Sure.
So it'll be just like
how many games do they play in the fall?
4.
4?
Yeah,
dang.
Just like 4 games, and then there's like one showcase. And I remember it goes the showcase first, and then the 3 or 4 games that you play after. And during the showcase, after the showcase, I got a bunch of buzz from different schools all over. That was awesome. And I was like, oh, I'm going to commit soon.
Yeah,
I'm going to commit pretty soon. And then
you have your great season.
But there's a step before that. Before the game started, I was getting huge. I sit right now probably around 200, 205. And at JUCO, I was just eating a ton, lifting a ton, eating a ton, lifting a ton. And I was probably like between 211 and 215, which is bigger for me. And I pulled my hamstring and I couldn't play in the next 2 games. And all the coaches that were recruiting me, they were like, "Hey, we're going to be at this game." And I was like, "I pulled my hamstring, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. Like, if you want to come out on those games." Like, and then every single one of them, "Oh, sounds good. Best of luck with the rest of your season. Best of luck with the rest of your season. Best of luck with the rest of your season."
That's a brutal text. That's a brutal text.
It was terrible.
Best of luck for the rest of your season.
Mm-hmm. And I remember like it was yesterday, like reading those texts from schools, like dream schools that I really wanted to go to, and I was just like, "Geez." So play the rest of the season, have a pretty good season, and then on my way back home, still not committed, haven't heard anything from any other schools. They called me and they're like, "Hey, come on a visit. Like, we want you to come out on a visit." And I still remember this game. It was the game that Michael Ross threw a complete game in like 90 pitches or something.
Dang.
That was the visit that I came on, and it was awesome. I loved it. They offered me, and then I think a week or 2 later, committed. And then
we shouldn't think about it too long, but could you imagine Michael Ross healthy last year? We can't think about it too long.
Talk about it. We still talk about it in the dugout event. Like,
I'm sure.
Samford,
we would have been filthy
Roberts in the World Series.
God, dude. Yeah, we. All right, let's not think about it. All right, so so you see Michael, you show up for the game. I'm assuming it's at Samford. Visit goes well. What you think about Coach David? He's a unique cup of tea. So
I thought he was awesome because he was just different because he was different, and I was only comparing him to my Rutgers coach, not my JUCO coach, because my JUCO coach was like, he was just one of a kind, he was just different. Like, he just loved like his players and just the community, and just like it was just completely different. Yeah. So I was comparing it to another like Division I school that their job is to win. So I was comparing him to my Rutgers coach, and he was just a complete 360. He like loved communicating and loved saying like, "This is how it's going to be. This is what I expect. Like, this is how we run our program. This is what we do. We love you." Like, there was a compassion. There was like a love that he had for Samford, just the university. And that was the biggest thing that stood out to me. It wasn't the scholarship. It wasn't the campus. It was Coach Tony David, because he was like, there was just a different love that he had for Samford, and then like one thing that he harped on was like loving like his family and like his community and
Yeah.
like so it was just completely different. I was like, man, I want to play for this guy. Like
I believe
loves
that.
he loves his players. He loves the
Yeah.
university. Like I want to come and I want to like ball out for him. Like not even just money wise, like none of that. It was
Yeah.
just he was just an awesome dude. So he stood out to me a lot. And I loved him. My dad immediately he loved him and
Felt a little bit better about Birmingham than Mississippi.
oh yeah. He loved it. He loved it down here.
Yeah.
And so fast forward I think probably a couple more weeks. I'm already committed and I get a few calls from different schools and they're offering me.
Spicy.
And
Here
I'm
we go. A little drama.
yeah, no, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was telling them like, hey, look, like I'm already 10 toes down with Samford. And they were like, I remember them just basically talking really bad about Samford and just like, who are they? Like, who do they play? Like, what do they do?
Dang.
Like, blah,
Shots
blah.
fired.
Yeah. And I just remember that was God's way of telling me, like, I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
am
a
exactly
reaffirming
where I need to
conversation,
be.
or an affirming
Yes.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just somebody, just because they're a Power 5 school, they just think like they're just going to talk bad about a small Christian school that still plays ball. Like,
Yeah, we have a great
ball
program.
out.
I mean,
so it's like,
yeah.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I thank God that he literally showed that to me right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
And yeah, I mean, coming to Samford, it just completely changed my life. Like, truly, like it really did change the trajectory of my life.
So
Like,
let's talk about it. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So obviously, it's a great environment. The team, the school does a lot to support its students and especially its athletes. So talk about a couple of things maybe that, if you want, that changed for you.
So, I mean, the love for baseball definitely grew a lot more. So that was awesome. That was one of the biggest things that it helped me with. And then the most important thing that Samford really helped me with, and just the state of Alabama and Birmingham, was my faith. Like,
Yeah.
truly helped me walk out my, like, really come back to God and really, truly walk out my faith for real. And that was the biggest life-changing thing for me being down here in Birmingham was really that. I mean, it allowed me to really understand that I'm not all high and mighty when it comes to baseball, and allowed me to really humble myself and really realize where I'm at and what I'm doing it for. And this actually all happened before Wofford last year. And I remember I was hitting, I think, probably $150.
I was about to say there was a slump. There was this big slump.
I think I was hitting like 150,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
With like 30 punchies. And like, it was just, I was in a bad place, like mentally. Yeah. Bad place mentally. And I was just like, well, I don't even know if I want to play baseball like anymore, blah, blah. And I remember just saying one prayer I made, and I was like, I wasn't really walking out my face. Like, yeah, I was going to church and all that stuff, but I wasn't truly walking out my face in faith and giving it all to Jesus Christ. And I remember one game, I knew I was going to play. I was down for, I think, 4 or 5 weekends. I didn't play. Rightfully so, because I stunk. But I was down, and I remember I was going to play, I think, because one of our guys got thrown out of a game. And I was like, who else are they going to, like, put in? Like, I know they're going to play me. And I remember he told me, he was like, yo, you're in there. I was like, all right, cool. I said a prayer in the outfield, and I was like, God, like, if you're there, like, and you hear me the way everybody says, like, you hear your children when they cry, like, I trust you. I can't do anything else anymore. It wasn't the work I was putting in, because I work really hard in baseball. Like, nobody can ever say, like, I don't work hard. Like, that's something I really take pride in, is my work. So I was like, it's not the work I'm putting in. It's not me lifting. It's not anything like that. Like, just take it from me. Like, I trust you. Do what you do. And that game, I think I went 2 for 3 with a homer and a double. And ever since that point, I realized, like, I can't do it all by myself. Like, no matter how much work I put in, no matter how much time I put into reading a mental book about baseball, or looking up swings, or taking swings in the cages, or lifting, like, no matter what I do, it'll never be enough, like, and I will never be able to do it by myself. And that was the biggest realization that I've ever come to, that changed the complete trajectory of my life.
Talk about
and
a weight
season.
off the shoulders. I mean, dang.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
And every single game after that, I was in, and that was a prayer I said before every single game. And I think I ended up hitting, from that point to the rest of the season, I think it was like 400 with 10 homers and like 35 ribbies, and there was like 4 weeks left.
Oh, that sounds right, because I remember we talked about it before we recorded, but you were one of the guys the dudes mentioned on our preview show last year. And you started off amazing. And then, as you said, got in the slump and fell off the map. I'm like, all right, where'd Josh go? And then as we're gearing up for the SoCon tournament, coming down the home stretch, it's like, oh, here he is. That is crazy, man.
It's just a humbling moment, really. Just being able to humble myself and understanding that, like, whatever I do here on the field does not define who I am or what I do or what I stand for. No, what God did on the cross is what defines who I am. So, like, that, knowing that and truly embodying that is what allowed me to really get in that box with a peace.
Yeah.
Get in the outfield with the peace. And then, like, baseball is not a game that you can play with pressure or antsy or trying to do too much or trying to do too, like, you have to be in there playing with peace and gratitude that he's the one who gave me the abilities to be here, the abilities to play this game, the opportunity to play at Samford. So it's all the glory and all the honor and praise goes to him. And it's not that he literally came and swung the bat for me, even though he could do that, but
sure, yeah.
What he did with my mental state is really where all the glory really goes to. I mean, he also gave me the ability to speak life into others, like into my teammates as well. So, I mean, being able to do that stuff is awesome too, because now I have a bunch of other guys walking around with peace doing their thing as well. So now we're all balling. So it's awesome, dude, and it's all because of him. Like, it's all because of him. Dude.
I love that. I love that.
I promise. So
yeah, dude, Samford is a special place. It takes and a coach like David and a crew that he's assembled. I hope that environment continues to foster things like this.
Yeah, of course, and it's the teammates as well. All the players on the team as well. They're walking out. Crew. They're walking out their faith, just like anybody else like that isn't playing a sport is doing. So it's really awesome being around people like that and people that want to see you grow, not just on the field, but as an individual. Because, like, that's what it's all about. I mean, we'll only play baseball for
exactly
God knows how long, but it's like it's growing as an individual, growing as a person is the most important thing that we can all do. So being around guys that wanted to grow, being around coaches that wanted us to grow played a huge role in the trajectory of how I was going in my life. Now I understand, like, whether I stop playing baseball tomorrow, like, I'm not defined by it. Like, I'm defined by a lot more than just what I do on the baseball field. Whether I go 4 for 4 with 3 homers or 0 for 4 with 4 Ks, like, it is what it is, and it's not who I am. So that was the most important and biggest just change that came in my life was from being at Samford University. Most important thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, so let's talk about that upswing. So we come back out of the slump. We're like, all right, we're back. We head into the SoCon tournament. I mean, what happened?
Dude, that man, that place is awesome. Greenville is awesome, and we're about to head up there in a week and a half.
Week
But
and a half, yeah.
last year, I remember just Cravey going out there absolutely shoving. We fall a game, and then we have a three-game day that we didn't even know about until the night before.
Like like 11 p.m.
That we had to be up at like 5:30 in the morning to get up swinging the cages. Like, dude. I'm still in my second dream by the time we're waking up. Dude. And I'm like, bro, I gotta go hit BP right now and get ready for game.
The SoCon did not want us to win.
No,
they did not.
No, and they probably still don't. Like, but hey, this is the place to be. But yeah, we did something that no one's ever done before. Obviously, with the help of God and our coaching staff, we were on one that day. Nobody was complaining about anything. Everybody was locked in from the moment we woke up that morning to that dog pile in front of the mound.
I mean,
like
that 8 a.m. game.
There was no energy
sitting there with everyone has their coffee. It's 8 a.m. Mm-hmm. I heard that y'all didn't even get your breakfast until like the 6th inning.
Nope.
So y'all are just running on nothing for the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was definitely awesome to be a part of that and definitely to contribute into that success as well. I mean, just seeing it from the outfield and like just everything going on, like Heath shoving was unreal. Newman shoving was unbelievable. Like seeing Lynch go, like it was just being in the outfield, like having that view was just there was nothing like it, dude. It was absolutely nothing like it. And I one thing I remember just being in the outfield is just like any ball that's hit out here, I have to get it. I have to go get it. Yeah. And that was just And then everybody else was playing with that same exact intensity. So it was awesome being a part of that. Like the energy was just in the dugout was just different. And I can't wait to feel it again. I
mean, y'all had to have been exuding some kind of special energy because my goodness, when Wofford walked out there for the first game, they were timid. They were like, okay, we're just going to try to survive. If the second game comes, the second game comes, and we're okay with that. Yeah. Well, brother, if the second game is coming for you, it's over. Like, like it's over.
Yeah, dude.
So who did you live with your first year at Samford?
Ben Petschke.
Oh, nice.
I was with Petschke.
What was living with it? He seemed kind of like an intense fellow. What was living with him like?
I mean, it was awesome living with Petschke because we were both in the same type of vibe where we just really wanted to like learn and grow. So we were like picking at each other. So like he was a pitcher and he was a really good pitcher. So like I'm picking at him on, hey, how do you think this guy would throw me? What would you throw me here? What would you throw me? And then he'd be asking the same thing from me being a hitter. So like that was kind of our dynamic where it was like, of course we had the time where we'd sit back and throw on a show, but for the most part, living with Ben, I mean, it was a learning experience for sure because we were both just.
Dude, that is what I was imagining. I was like, that dude is a grinder 24/7. So
yeah.
And then all right, so what has it been like living with John?
He's one of the coolest roommates. Yeah. Just as a roommate, you're very chill, laid back, awesome. Like that's really the only way that I can describe it. Is just it's very different living with him and living with Petschke, just because Petschke was me and him were both always just picking at each other. But me and John, it's more of like once we get back, dude, no baseball. Let's just be human and like chill out, which I love. Yeah, like I love it, and that's one of his greatest qualities is being able to just once he takes his spikes off. Bro, I'm a normal human being now, dude. And think about that. He's almost hit 400 with I think 12 homers.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
And it's just once I take the spikes off, dude, I'm a human being. Like I don't want to.
Yeah,
And
his
I'm the
season's been
same way.
wild.
So
Like he was somebody. We knew he was good. He was going to bat above 300.
yeah,
But the fact that it's May 15th. The fact that he's in the running for Player of the Year at the moment, with the
yeah,
season that Caleb Cozart's having at UNCG, is unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
He's he's legit, dude.
Yeah,
John
no,
Anderson is
that's
he's
awesome.
legit. He's a great
So,
dude too.
so what do we do? What do you like to do in Birmingham? So, obviously baseball priorities, but for fun, if it's not baseball related or reading, what do you like to do?
I mean, dude, I don't do much besides read. Like, I really don't do much. I read. I go out. I go out to dinner if I'm
Yeah,
not
all right.
cooking
Let's talk
here.
about food. Let's talk about food. It's always a fun subject.
Okay.
What are some go-to spots? Go-to spots in Birmingham?
So I consider these go-to spots as like my cheat meals because I don't.
Sure.
I cook a ton here, but go-to spots I'd say Ono Poke
Okay.
or Pokey, however you
Yeah,
pronounce
that's been a we've heard that from a few people.
it. And then whenever I go somewhere nice, usually with my girlfriend, it'll be like Ironwood Kitchen Cocktails. That place is really
Okay.
good. North Italia is awesome. Uh, where else? Perry's obviously is really good, but those are for like
The
every other week
special,
if I
right?
gotta. Yeah, but
Right.
other than that, most of my meals are cooked here. I'm a big ground beef eggs at 12, and then steak and avocado, a fat steak and an avocado at night, and
Oh
I'm and I'm
man,
and I'm fine.
you're on that athlete train, that like
Yeah,
professional athlete train.
yeah. I
That
mean,
look,
it makes me
kudos to
feel the
you,
best.
man. Yeah, that's I hear that. I hear that. When you go home, what's the anything mom cooks or any go to little neighborhood spot? What are we eating there?
Well, up north they have the best bagels, pizza, and pasta
Okay, well,
that you'll get
that's
anywhere.
debatable, but sure.
No,
The
no, no,
bagels
dude,
for
dude.
sure.
I promise. I
Pizza,
promise.
look, we could talk about. I've had some good pizza all across America. New York is fine. Jersey's fine. Like, it's good. The bagels,
You
though,
haven't been
I've
to the
yet to
right
have a.
spots.
The bagels are pretty elite. Pretty
Yeah,
elite.
yeah. So like, I love going to like a deli, like a nice little deli, and getting a little bagel or a chicken parm sandwich or something like that.
Ooh, chicken parm
And then
sandwich. That
yeah, see, I'm telling you, bro, you haven't been to all the spots. That's the reason why.
sounds nice.
Yeah, like eh, that food is really good. And then anything my mom cooks me is unbelievable. Rice, beans,
Yeah.
chicken is the go-to, but that's anything she cooks is
Dude,
made
it
with love.
is.
It's awesome.
It's hard to beat rice beans, like a good rice and beans, and then a nice little chick. Like
Yeah.
I got a, I got a friend who his family's Cuban, and my goodness, can the dude cook some black beans? Like
Oh yeah.
my god, like they're amazing. It's just look, you cannot discount how good those meals are and how good they make you feel. So,
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, I like that. I like that. There's nothing better than a home cooked meal. Siblings, we got family.
I do. I have two older sisters and a nephew from my oldest
Oh,
sister.
that's fun.
Yeah.
How old's your nephew?
He turned 3 in January. Yeah, 3. He turned 3 in
That's
January.
an exciting time. Where do they live?
They also live in Jersey as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they're all up there, and I'm down here. I'm the only one that's away from the family
Yeah, that's pretty far.
right now. Yeah, I mean
Like,
my middle sister, she lived in Miami for a year. She lived
okay.
in Philly for a year. So she was away from home for some time, but she's back in Jersey now.
So what are our goals after Sanford? Um, we still thinking baseball, or we like what's the goals and aspirations?
As of right now, I'm trying my absolute best to take it one day at a time. But all of my trust and my faith is in God's plan and His plan for me, whether it's playing baseball and speaking life into people that way, or starting a business and speaking life into people that work for me or I work with. Whatever it is, I mean, I try my absolute hardest not to put like a deadline and a set time and this is when I have to be doing this by this time, because God's plans change all the time. Like, for example, I didn't know I was going to be here. Yeah. I didn't know I was going to be here. I didn't know I was going to be in Birmingham. And who knows? But as of right now, if God wants me to go play baseball, I'm going to honor and obey whatever he wants for me. Obviously, for the rest of the season, I'm going to perform to the best of my abilities so that could potentially be an option.
Sure, yeah.
And so that we can win.
And then we can win, yeah.
So like I'm gonna do my absolute best in that aspect. But again, like I was saying earlier, I'm not like I used to be defined by baseball.
Yeah.
Like that used to be my whole persona. Like I used to be out of high school, I'm getting drafted. Junior, I'm getting drafted. I'm playing baseball. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then plans change. So it's part of maturing is understanding you don't know what God's going to throw your way. So it's just be ready for it. And once your name gets called to do whatever it is, be ready for it.
Yeah. So what did you want to be growing up? I forgot to ask that. Anything in particular?
I mean, I've always wanted to like own a business. Like I've always wanted to like own my own business. So like when I was younger, I used to like flip sneakers. So like I used to like buy a pair of sneakers and like sell them. And
I love
make
that.
make like $30 on it or something like that. I did that for a little while. I started like cleaning sneakers. Up north, like it snows, so I'd wake up really early and like go to all my neighbors' houses and like shovel theirs for $20
it's
here,
good money.
$30 here.
It's good money.
So I mean, I've always wanted to be just like own my own business and run my own business.
Yeah.
But once I got older and I started seeing that baseball could be an opportunity, I mean, I was like, it'd be kind of cool to play for the New York Yankees in the Bronx.
just kind of cool. I mean, not that cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that's definitely be a dream.
Yeah.
But again, like then I started understanding that there's also just more to life now. I mean, I hope to have a really big family one day. I hope to.
How many kids? 10? 7? You're nodding your head.
10. Between 5 and 10.
Between 5 and 10.
Yeah, dude.
Are you Mormon, Josh?
I had to ask. But I want to create a bunch of.
That's so funny, dude.
A bunch of just little disciples, great human beings.
Hey, I'm here for it. If they all want to come play baseball and softball at Samford, all the better too.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's amazing. So wow, 5 to 10 kids. Do either your parents or siblings own a business? Like, what kind of gave you that inkling?
I mean, my parents always just made me work for whatever I wanted when I was younger. So if I wanted to buy the new Xbox or something, it was work. They wanted to give me whatever they wanted, but they instilled in me that like you're not just going to get it that way. That. And once I started kind of like hustling for it, like amplified that like, oh, I could do this. Like I could do it on my own. Like I started like just, I don't know. There's like a fire that burns whenever I like make a deal and make a little profit on it. Or like I got done cleaning a house, like shoveling a house when I was like 12. And like I got done and I was like, dang, I just made $20 and my hands are numb, but like it was awesome. I made $20. Like I don't know. I have an uncle who's in heaven now, but he owned a business and his lifestyle was just so cool. Like he was just able to do whatever he wanted to do whenever he wanted to do it. He was able to like, of course, like I said, I want to have a lot of really big families. So he was able to be with his family all the time. Yeah. And I think that's awesome. Being like 50 years old and being able to like, no, I'm not going into work today, and just being with your family. Obviously that comes after 20 to 30 years of hard
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
but just the lifestyle is awesome from what I've seen, what I've experienced with my family members.
No,
So
that's definitely a nice perk, and especially you got 10 kids. That's
if that's what God has in the cards for me, I'm
that's
all
funny,
for it.
dude. That's funny. All right. So, anything else before we wrap it up? I appreciate the time so far. But wanted to give you a last shot, shout outs. Anything else you wanted to share? Just floor is yours.
Let's think about it. I mean, I would just highly recommend everybody pick up a book and start reading a little bit. Form your own thoughts, because the thoughts that we have now were given to us by the people around us. So we need to learn how to think for ourselves, form our own opinions on things, and give all the glory and the honor to God, not just in the good times, but in the bad times as well. And humble yourself to understand that you're not in control of everything. And that's really all I got. I mean, all the glory and all the honor goes to God. And I just thank you for what you're doing. This is awesome, dude. State of the Dogs is awesome. And
It's fun.
thank you for having me.
It's fun because you get to talk to guys like you and other dudes on the baseball team. We love the baseball team. But yeah, man, appreciate the time. Wise words from your 22? Yeah.
23 now, but yeah.
23. Yeah. Well, we appreciate the time, and always more than welcome to come back on the show. We're excited to see how the season unfolds, and excited to see where life takes you. But
yes, sir.
Josh Rodriguez, everybody.
Thank you.